Good morning. I have the distinct pleasure to be with you this morning, and my name is Sandra Whippy. I have been around Keene off and on since 1953. I've been a part of this church off and on, and I lived in many surrounding towns as well. So I kind of plead a little bit of ignorance and a lot of pleasure in being with you. Holy and beautiful is the custom which brings us together today in the presence of the Most High, to face our ideals, to remember our loved ones in absence, to give thanks, to make confession, to offer forgiveness, to be enlightened and to be strengthened. Through this quiet hour breathes the worship of ages, the cathedral music of history. Three unseen guests attend: faith, hope, and love. Let all our hearts prepare them a place. A person once said to me, a few years ago, when I was ordained unexpectedly as a minister of the UU Church in Walpole, by the way, someone came to me and said, "You must know something." Tell me how I might not die. It isn't being dead that I'm afraid of, it's the process of death. I don't even like suffering. I don't even like sorrow. If you don't want sorrow, then don't love anything. That's what the Buddhists say. Don't become attached. It's only when we love that we feel loss so deeply. If you go through life with no passion, then you'll never get hurt. It all just becomes meaningless. And I'd like to open with a poem by Mary Alice Ramshaw. When I'm gone, release me. Let me go. I have so many things to see and to do. You mustn't tie yourself to me with tears. Be happy that we had so many years. I gave you my love, and you can only guess how much you gave me in happiness. I thank you for the love you each have shown. But now it's time to travel on alone. So grieve a little while for me if you must, and then let your grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part, so bless the memories within your heart. I won't be far away. life goes on. If you need me, call, and I will come. Though you cannot see me or touch me, I'll be near you. If you listen with your heart, you'll hear all of my love around you, soft and clear. And then, when you must come this way alone, I will greet you with a smile and a welcome home. We've come to celebrate a life. We've come to celebrate the life of Melinda May Hildreth Honkala. First this morning, I welcome Pam, who is a dear friend of mine at the Walpole Unitarian Church. But we've been here before, and several of you would like to be with us in many ways again.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I'm so proud of my sister Lynn, which is the name Scott and I called her, Scott, my husband. In her late years, I called her Lindy, which she liked and wished she had been called when she was a little girl. Lindy was, I think, a model of courage, with grace and dignity throughout her battle with Alzheimer's. I would have been kicking and screaming if I'd been in her place, but she was loving, hopeful, and patient. I'd only hoped to be so brave. She was known as Gigi to her great-granddaughter Bella, who was the apple of her eye, and whose presence in her last years brought sunshine into her life like no other. Kayaking was her recreation and passion for many years. One time, she was on the Connecticut River and got stuck in a swift and overwhelming current when the Bells Falls Dam opened up unexpectedly. After a few harrowing hours of trying to get back to the Westminster Bridge, she finally had to call her husband to come from Richmond to rescue her and her friend. Melinda had two claims to fame. Am I squeezing your hand too hard, Mel? No. Cutting off the circulation. So Melinda had two claims to fame. She was featured not just once in a newspaper article, but twice. A wonderful Monadic profile was written about her and her determined quest as a single mother of a Keene State College bachelor's degree. Also, another article was when she was about in 5th grade, and she was sleeping over at our neighbor's house. Unbeknownst to anyone, a skunk was under her bed in the guest room. In the guest room when she was sleeping in, and the local authorities had to be called in, and the story hit the papers. Melinda had a lot of heart and soul, and I know so many of you know that. She had a lot of heart. She was a loving wife, gardener, a big dog lover, a keeper of chickens, a naturalist, and a fervent activist, particularly for women's rights. She was a loyal protester at demonstrations. We ventured to Washington, D.C. twice, and many times together in Keene and Concord. She helped to raise alarms about a pipeline which could have gone through Richmond. Melinda's long membership in this Unitarian church brought a wonderful richness to her life in so many ways. A big thank you to Reverend Whippy and to David Tubner, who have lent their rich experience and expertise to making this a memorable celebration of life. I'm so grateful to her husband and my brother-in-law, Michael, to her best friend, Carolyn Jones, unwavering, loyal friend, and to her outstanding caregiver, Cynthia, who couldn't be here today, she had eye surgery, who enabled Melinda to die peacefully at home. I'm going to swap places here. All right. By the way, that's my sister Mel. Melinda's sister Melanie.
And sister to my baby sister, Pamela. Linda and, I call her Linda instead of Melinda, because when she was a little girl, she was she was born as Linda May. And then things didn't go well for our parents, and they didn't just divorce once, but they decided to divorce twice. And during that time, they had enough time to think about it, and our mother thought, let's have a memorable first name of Melinda, which is still unusual. And so we were adopted by our stepfather. And at that time, our name changed. My mother decided, let's change your first name, Linda. And so they did that, but do you think I could change name? I'm not going to call my sister Melinda. She's been Linda to me since we're only a year and a half apart. So I'm keeping that name of Linda. So that's a story about our relationship. You can kind of see we're all pretty independent. And it's pretty difficult to tell us what to do. We're going to do what we think is best. Part of Linda's whole spirit is, and always was, part of nature. And she passed on a lot of that to her children and her grandchildren, her love of nature. And in amongst my passion is scrapbooking and recording the history that we have of our family, to pass it on to children and grandchildren. Well, I was going through one of my scrapbooks, and I came across this little slip of paper, all handwritten, and it was said on it, Apache blessing. And I thought right immediately, that's my sister Linda. That's her. She loved nature, but not only that, but a reverence of nature. And so I decided to bring that blessing along with me, and along with my vision of my sister Linda on my shoulder. And it's my voice, but she is saying this to all of you. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. and may the breeze blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life. Thank you, Linda.
Well, thank you everybody for coming. I'm Mark Magoon, Melinda's son. Sorry, it's gonna be hard to follow that. That was quite a tribute, yes, thank you, to my mother. I guess the only perspective that I could bring, all those things I knew about, she was a fantastic woman. She just made everything good, and she worked really hard. Single mother, raising me and my brother. Super tough. I mean, I know that looking back. I'm older now, but when I was a kid, I didn't even understand. Everything was great. Everything was fun. We went camping all the time. We went on Swanee River trips in Florida, and just nature was great. Went to the beach all the time when we lived in Florida. We made a big pilgrimage back here when I was 16, kicking and screaming. I certainly was a Florida kid. Didn't want to come back to New England, although I did visit here every summer to stay with my father. But I was Florida. I was about the beach. And so we jumped in a very, very packed Subaru and drove all the way from Orlando to Keene, New Hampshire. And the Subaru broke down as soon as we got into New Hampshire. The clutch just went out. So we ended up knocking on the door of a person's house at 11 o'clock at night so we could use the phone to call my grandfather to come pick us up. So it was a very harrowing trip. That winter, that was September, that winter was the worst winter Keene had gotten in 10 years. Feet of snow. And I haven't seen snow ever in my life. Ever. So it was just that much more awful. But eventually, I embraced New Hampshire. This place is unbelievably beautiful in the summertime. Winter, not so much. But summer in Keene, summer in New Hampshire is unbelievable. Rope swings, beautiful lakes, all kinds of outdoor activities that me and my mother did together, enjoyed. She bought a house in Winchester. It's just good. And I tell everybody I'm from New England now. I don't even tell anybody about that Florida part. All right, so my wife harasses me about it all the time. You're a Floridian or whatever they call that, but I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm from New England. So I loved her dearly, and it was tough the last couple of years. Her dealing with the Alzheimer's. So she was a shell of her, herself. You guys know that. You've seen her. You remember how much joy and everything that she brought to everyone, and to see her that last couple of years was tough. I'm glad to hear that she passed away peacefully in her beautiful home in Richmond. She loved that place. She couldn't have wanted it better than that, to pass away there. And that's it. I just thank you guys all for coming in and celebrating my mother, and thank you.
Thank you for being here, everybody. I know Melinda would love every minute of this. There are so many things I could say about Melinda, but I'll try to keep it short. Melinda and I were very good friends for the past 30-plus years. We were very close and spent a lot of time together. We talked on the phone almost every day, sharing our lives, agreeing or disagreeing, depending on the topic. When crises were upon us, we were each other's bridge over troubled water. I was one of 2 guests at the wedding when Melinda and Michael decided, after many years of living together, to tie the knot. She did not want to just be somebody's girlfriend, she wanted to be somebody's wife. Michael says that he always went along with whatever she wanted to do because she always had a good plan. Melinda loved her home and her family. Michael, her sisters Pam and Mel and their families, her daughter-in-law Carolyn. Her 2 sons were the loves of her life. Jim lived nearby, and Mark and his family lived in New Jersey. She delighted in her grandchildren, Tyler, Mark, Megan, and later on her great-granddaughter, Isabella. Bella called Gigi, which always made Melinda smile. There were many pets in their home in Richmond, always a dog or 2, or a cat or 3. I remember sitting in their basement on a Saturday night when the entertainment was watching the baby chicks grow. And some of you probably bought eggs that she had harvested. Melinda over time became forgetful and unsteady. She was unable to carry on life as she had known it. It was difficult for her to be part of a conversation, and her mobility was compromised. She went from a walker to a wheelchair very fast. Michael cared for her, and she also had a wonderful helper, which Pam mentioned, Cynthia, who was an angel in disguise. In the midst of all that, she was losing her oldest son. Jim died suddenly of cancer, and then her son Mark had a serious heart attack. In some ways, I really think that these crises were too much for Melinda to absorb, which may have been a blessing in disguise. Melinda was always sweet and gentle until the day she died. Melinda will be remembered for her steadfastness, her dedication, her ability to get things done, her feistiness, generosity, activism, her concern for humanity, and her beautiful smiling face. We traveled together. When we traveled together, we always belted out songs from Simon and Garfunkel. And we loved the words of some of those songs. So I just want to say, sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. Goodbye, Melinda. You may be gone, but you never will be forgotten. Thank you.
I'll go first. All right, I brought my buddy up here, help me out. She told me I had to speak first, so, and bear with me. Thank you everyone for being here today. I am Megan, otherwise known as Melinda, just a moment ago, and I'm happy to be called that. I'm Melinda's grandmother, like we just kind of touched and discussed, and I'd like to extend my sincerest thank you for everyone being here today. Most importantly, Aunt Pam, Aunt Mel, and Grammy's dearest friend, Carolyn, for putting all of this together today. it's hard when we're so far away to be a part of it, and it's been beautiful, so thank you. Aunt Pam specifically is the queen of the show here. You've done so much for our family throughout the years. While Grandma was sick, you made it your mission to always advocate for her and make sure she was receiving the very best care. You kept us all updated with your monthly organized emails. The organization on this woman is amazing. Team Honkala, you made sure she was given the very best care, but most importantly, you made sure that she felt love from all of us until her very last moment. Something that's unscripted, but I think worth mentioning is that every birthday, holiday, etc., Pam made sure that Grammy very sloppily over the years wrote her name and signed all of our cards to make sure that we knew that she was thinking of us. Thank you. I've always said that most of the things I love about myself are a reflection of Melinda. The other things are a reflection of my father. I'm just kidding. As I've continued to grow up, I see so much of the stories that are shared of her and myself. I find comfort in because of knowing that she'll never truly be gone. She was a wild spirit, a fierce feminist, and a servant to her community, and never afraid to speak her mind, even if it meant standing out amongst the crowd. As her sickness progressed, I silently hoped that Grandma lived to see the first female president in our country. I know that she would be absolutely overjoyed by that. So when that day comes, I ask that you all think of her. I remember kayaking and picking blueberries, protesting that Richmond pipeline, feeding the chickens, walking the dogs, and having bonfires on her property that she loved. She collected the most beautiful pottery, and her home was filled with love and oddities that she acquired throughout her beautiful life. One of the last times I saw her, she couldn't say much, and I knew that going into it. She didn't have to say, oh, sorry. She couldn't say much, and I knew that. So instead, I brought her favorite ice cream. She was an ice cream lover, always was. I didn't need her to tell me or speak to me about how happy she was because I could feel it in the room with her. I spent my entire life admiring her, and I always will. Thank you all for being here. All right. You want to speak later? We'll circle back to Bella. She was just mostly here to support me.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming on in, celebrating my grandmother's celebration of life. She was a woman of passion, compassion for all living animals, people, everything. Lover of nature. She's everything, so many great things that I love about myself and others. She has taught me throughout the years. I was fortunate enough, growing up as a child, to spend 2 weeks every year at the Richmond house, and no TV, no internet, like a total change from where I came from in New Jersey. And you really had to get comfortable with the rocks and the chickens calling and dogs barking at the end of the night, chasing away coyotes, right? Coyotes, big bear, the rooster. Yep, we were really well acquainted. Yep, yes. Reading. You know, when I was younger, she would read a book before we would go to sleep at night. And just really passionate woman, someone I really miss and love dearly. So, and excuse me, I'm sure she's touched all your lives as well. I'll never forget the drives to camp in the morning. Quiet, no music. Just the wind. I love her. I love her. She's here. I know it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold myself together, but she's a wonderful woman, and I really thank you all for being here. Thank you.
I think at this time, we'd encourage anyone else who would like to come forward, if you would like to say anything. Okay, go ahead. She was loving, she was caring, she was nice. Good job. Anything else? Okay, all right, okay.
Hi, I'm Mickey Cronin, and my son Noah was a student of Melinda's for many years in the religious education program here at KUC. And he couldn't be here today, even though he wanted to. So I want to share with you a little of what Melinda brought to our children here at KUC, because it was no small gift. You've seen some of the pictures up here of Vision Quest. And here at KUC, my son had an opportunity to intersect with Melinda at two areas. One was the Vision Quest that you're seeing right now, that Melinda brought in. It was an opportunity for our students who were in 7th and 8th grade to actually work with her over the year to write what we called their credo, their belief. And to take someone who is, 12, 13, 14, and have them thinking about what does their life mean? What are they, what is their meaning in life? That is a huge gift. She invited them all over to her property, which was wonderful. They camped out overnight. They worked individually on crafting their beliefs. And then the next day, she got them all up. They had a breakfast together. They all came into the church, and they hosted the worship service and shared their credo that they wrote with the whole congregation. From a parent's perspective, when someone gives your child a gift like that, it is forever memorable. The other area where Melinda, there's a program in the Unitarian Church called Our Whole Lives. And some of you may be familiar with it. It's sort of a lifespan sexual education course. It's usually hosted by someone who identifies female and someone who identifies male. Melinda was my son's sex education teacher. I can remember picking him up from class one day, and we were told as parents, do not ask the students about the course. And I was sort of straddling a fine line here. And my son got in the car, very quiet, and I said, "How was class?" And his head immediately went down on the dashboard of the car. So later on, I had to follow up with Melinda and say, "What was that all about?" And in which she shared with me the topic they were working on. But her patience, her kindness, her generosity of spirit, her sense of humor was just so generous and appreciated from the perspective of this parent. And I know there are other parents here as well whose children were deeply, deeply affected by being able to work with Melinda here. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. Let's see. Center myself. I'm here as part of. I'm too emotional. Whenever I get up and talk, it's an emotional time, so that's okay. But I'm here as part of Melinda's Camp Dakota family, one of 5 folks back there. I want to let folks know how important she was to that organization. We have two of our executive directors, 2 camp directors, Gretchen, our waterfront director for many years. And so Melinda came into that organization replacing or filling in for someone who had been in that role for 30 years, Marty Fisher, thankfully still with us. Marty retired, started working at the Y the day after high school graduation, as the story goes, and until her retirement was there. And Melinda was the first person to take on that role. And so it was a big job. It was a hard job, but I know that she loved it. She had to deal with me coming in maybe a year later, a 26-year-old who grew up at camp, thought he owned the place, and we had some good discussions. I learned a lot from her. It was a very traditional organization. Someone who liked Apache prayers and such chose to join a Young Man's Christian Association. And so she helped us to learn some things. Like I said, it was a very traditional place, so she was fiercely protective of the women that worked. It was women that worked in the front of the office, our secretaries and our registrars, protective of their workload. Helped us learn things and face strong decisions, and it was challenging to us as managers and leaders of the organization. So certainly one of those people that I think I credit for learning about things about feminism. Other things. You can imagine how well it went when I suggested she read a book that I'd read called The Myth of Male Power. It was an interesting conversation. I think she suggested, I think we even maybe agreed that I would read a book that she chose and she would read a book that I chose. But it was fun, a fun thing. But I lost touch with, as I left the Y, I lost touch with Melinda. Just wanted, for those close to her, wanted to let you know that her Dakota family is here with you today. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Deb McClay, and I'm a member here at KEUC, so I've known Melinda for many years. And I have 2 hopefully short stories. I'll try not to get emotional at either one, but years ago, I think it was 2017, we didn't have a functioning membership committee, and Melinda started it up again, and 4 of us quickly zoomed in to join her. And one of the ideas she came up with along the way, I think we had our first night in 2019, she thought about honoring our many volunteers and maybe buying a few gag gifts and trying to make it funny. And so our first, we call it Shining the Light on UU, Volunteer Recognition Potluck and Roast, started in 2019. And we just had it started with little gag gifts and putting people's faces on funny pictures, and it's evolved into costumes and skits, and it's a lot of fun. But we just had our 8th annual on April 12th, and we dedicated that night to Melinda. And then I have a quick story about her feisty side. It was during a membership committee meeting, and I don't honestly remember what I was complaining about, and I'm not much of a complainer, but I remember I was complaining about something, and at one point Melinda interrupted me and banged her hand on the side of the chair and said, "Okay, what are we going to do about it?" And every time I find myself wanting to complain about something, I have that little voice in my head saying, "Okay, what are you going to do about it?" So that's Melinda.
The first time that Pam and I sat down to talk about what we thought would be appropriate for this particular person and the gifts that she has given to the world. And I said to Pam, as we had thought over a few other things, what about animatera? If you're not familiar with just that little phrase, you're going to be delighted. Hold on, because we did ask for and receive a group of people who were familiar with animatera, and we have that piece to show you. First, sung by the choir that has volunteered to do this, and then second, sung by all of those who will pick up the joy, the love, the message of animatera.
We're going to sing it twice, and for the third time, if anybody here knows the words, as you probably will, sing along with us, please.
Tell people that it is on the bottom of the
The words are on the bottom of the handout, page of the handout.
And the song is entitled When Every Woman, apropos. All right, ready? When every woman in the world has her mind set on freedom, when every woman in the world dreams a sweet dream of peace, when every woman from every nation, young and old, each generation joins hands in the name of love. There will be no more war when every woman in the world has her mind set on freedom, when every woman in the world dreams a sweet dream of peace, when every woman from every nation, young and old, each generation joins hands in the name of love. There will be no more war when every person in the world has their mind set on freedom, when
each generation joins hands in the name of love. There will be no more war.
We'll worry about that later. We Unitarian Universalists find our sources in so many places. This is a paperback book I picked up somewhere, written by Max Kuntz. And I find that the words are very helpful. When I was very young, my yesterdays were few. Tomorrows came on endlessly, and even cold December days were spring to me. Even now, sometimes, the child in me pretends that nothing ends, especially in the spring. I am April fooled by new leaves easily. This year, when spring came and lilacs were just days behind, the crocuses kept promises across the lawn, and there was time enough for everything. Some birds die kindlier where children find them, and with hearse hands, no such pitying procession of one who had found this bird and made him sun and rain, grass and ground, and tried to take him back. But now, I'm not so very young, and time runs faster than it did. Day by day, my yesterdays pile up, and my tomorrows dwindle down. I now know there is too little time for everything. I've been down and seen cellar holes of houses that used to be on knolls. They're stepping stones leading to nowhere now. House attics are full of life that used to be. Old wallpaper rolls, the records of all the lost ideas of beauty that ever marched around the rooms. Winters hung up on nails by ice skate strings. Words like echoes in piles of books. It takes a little while to know how much of life is death and not to dread it so. Life is mostly made of small regrets, of love, of some pain, a smile or two. If death were only these memories, would be enough to set it all right. If death were but on the end of life, I'd know enough to fear it or quietly accept the inescapable. The little deaths before the final time, I fear. The blasé shrug that quietly replaces excited curiosity. the chronic sneer that takes the place of innocence, the soft, sweet odor of success that overcomes the sense of sympathy, the self-betrayals that rob us of our will to trust, the ridicule of vision, the barren blindness of what it was once our sense of beauty. These are deaths that come so quietly we do not know when it was we even died. The deaths of people are not something for public scrutiny. A person's death is a private thing, like grief, like prayers, like birth. We know nothing of that final time except what I know of life. But I know that we live, and in my life have so many opportunities to die, for death is as many things and times before the days are gone. But we have yet a while, and things to be, and much to do. The person for whom we gather here today would wish us now to go about our doing, and yet, in doing so, remember the voice, remember the joy, remember how we enjoyed her in life, and what we loved in her relationship with each of you, and smile in the remembering of our friend. Our violinist will share something for us to enjoy. and you are invited to speak together with one another and to go out into the world with her words in your heart.
It did a lot better than I thought.